Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to my channel. I'm sorry for the harsh lighting. I like darkness, and usually on my other channels when I film, I just have my warm light, and it just wasn't enough. I'm gonna eventually have to add more warm lights around, but I have this very bright white light, so I'm sorry. Welcome to my channel. I am going to be starting this kind of journey of showing you my nursing journey, my journey to nursing, my journey to becoming a nurse. I will preface this channel by saying that as of right now, I'm not really the kind of person to vlog as I walk, as I'm going places. I'm a commuter. I use public transportation, so I'm not really going to be filming outside of my home. I do work in a hospital, but I do not plan on filming in a hospital setting. Potentially, if I find a situation where I can do it or can show certain things without compromising licensing or HIPAA, then I will do so. But more than likely, to stay safe, I probably will just do videos after the fact, and maybe get some clips throughout my day and then compile them. So this video is going to be kind of a preface or an introduction to what I plan on doing with this channel, what I plan on showing, who I am, where I'm going. So my name is Nadine, Nay for short. Nay the Nurse is my channel. Right now I'm completing my final year of university. I am 25, so I am kind of a non-traditional student in that I finished my first 3 years of university at Rutgers University, and then I was faced with a decision, not really a choice, that I could take, where I was told essentially that in order to keep living at home with my parents, I would have to put off my final year of school because my parents weren't comfortable with the COVID vaccine. And so that 1 year turned into 2-3 years. And on top of that, during that time, I both traveled across the country, moved across the country, and I was also waiting until I turned 24 so that I could apply for financial aid as an independent student. Because if you are not aware, on the FAFSA, as of right now, 2026, maybe not anymore, but as of 2024, 2025, you had to be 24 years old in order to apply. And so I am now 25. I started my final semester of university last semester with ASU online, and since then I have also moved across the country again. I'm on the Pacific Northwest, and so I'll talk about that more in another video because it's all kind of pre-planned. But yeah, so I'm finishing up my final year now at 25. I am still a biology major. Initially, when I was in college, I was a pre-med major studying cell biology. I picked this specific program because I was living in Arizona at the time I started the program, and the degree I chose was most similar to the one I'd already done courses for. And 3, with putting on as much courses as I could into a semester, I was going to be able to graduate within a year, which was what I wanted. I didn't want to go back to school only to have to do more time or redo courses that I had already done. And luckily, my courses transferred pretty easily between universities. Also, I did have to take one extra class during simultaneously through another university, and I'm probably going to be doing that again this semester, because otherwise I would have had to take a summer course and then graduate in the summer. I didn't want to do all that. I just wanted to do fall and spring and then graduate, and right now I'm on track to do that. So that is a brief rundown of my story academically. That's where I'm at right now. So rewinding a little bit, I moved up north Northwest. I'm in Washington. It doesn't really matter. I moved to Washington back in late August, September of last year. At the time, the university I was applying to, the ABSN, Accelerated BSN program, the application was due October 15th. So at the time, my plan was, okay, I'm gonna move to Washington. I'm going to get this job at this university hospital, more on that later, and I am going to get in a patient care role. I applied to like 30 jobs. I'm gonna get into a patient care role. I'm gonna get the 100 hours that are required for the application. I'm going to finish all of these things by the time the application is meant to be due, and I will be set to join nursing school this autumn, 2026 autumn. Unfortunately for me, even though the job I applied to, or the jobs I applied to, I got word back from one, and it was a custodian position, which I do not interact with patients, so there's also already one ding. Secondly, I moved here very prematurely for the interview because I wasn't going to, we're not going to get into it, but it was told to me that this was a very like needed position, that it was very like necessary that they fill it very quickly. And I don't know about you, but when a job tells me they need a position filled, or whenever I've applied to a job before, I've been able to start within like a week or two. That was end of August, literally the last day of August, I had that interview. I did not hear back until mid to the late September, and I was devastated because I wasn't gonna start work until October. So basically my whole plan of reaching that deadline for October 2025 wasn't gonna happen, and it was very frustrating. But since then I've seen kind of the beauty in the delay. So I'm working at a university hospital, which I think is very smart to do wherever you are, because, and I've worked at a university hospital before when I was in New Jersey, and it's just a smart thing to do, especially if you plan on continuing with that university, like going to school. You're more likely to have like tuition exemption, like employee benefits and things like that. So I feel like it's just a smart thing to do if you're able to. Of course, not every university, not every state is going to have a university hospital, but that's one of the main reasons that I wanted to work at this particular hospital, like campuses, was because I knew that by working for the university, I already have access to some employee benefits that would benefit me as a student. So I have the availability of tuition exemption after 1 year, which is where the blessing lies, in that by next October, when I'm applying again, and the following spring in 2027, I will be eligible for tuition exemption both through the university as an employee and through the union that I joined. So I don't know if I'm able to stack benefits, so to speak, but I'm looking forward to being able to use that benefit when I do apply to school. Okay, so as I mentioned, I am planning on applying to an ABSN program, an accelerated program. It's 12 months, which I know is going to be crazy. I do plan on working while I'm in university, while I'm in that accelerated program, which I know is highly, like, contended against. Like, it's not suggested that you do that. And I can already like understand that that's gonna be intense. Throughout my college career, I've had to work like 2 jobs from the beginning of my university career while in school. Didn't retain a thing, but somehow made it through with good grades. Right now I'm working 1 job while I'm in school. I plan on working a second job, getting a second job over the summer to like earn some more money, and then transferring to like a night position when I start my accelerated program. I know I'm saying like when I do this, I know there's a rigorous application process, but I'm believing and trusting that if everything has worked out so far, it's going to have to work out for me by that point. But one other benefit of like trying to apply a few months ago was that I was able to see some of the application. Unfortunately, I didn't have the wherewithal to go further into the application, but if you have the ability to access the application without paying for it right away, like usually when you finish the application is when you pay for it. If you have the ability to go in and see the application when it opens, definitely do so, especially even if it's like ahead of time, right? Because that application, if you don't submit it, they're not going to be reviewing it necessarily, and I don't think they're going to hold it against you if you have an incomplete application. So go through and look at everything. I really wish I'd looked at like the essay questions and all that, but I didn't. But I also am aware of all the prerequisites that I need. I attended info sessions, so at least I have all that information available to me. I know what to plan for, what to expect, and I plan to use that to my benefits. Luckily, as a pre-med student, I completed most of the prereqs that the program needed. I do plan over the summer, after I graduate, to review some of the some of those prerequisites. So like anatomy, physiology, those are two things, if nothing else, that I plan on reviewing and going deeper into and making sure I understand, so that basically building my foundation so that when I am in the accelerated program, I'm not like weighed down by not knowing things as soon. I'm probably already going to be at a disadvantage because all those prereqs, took them like years ago, right? So I need to make sure I've brushed up on like certain concepts, certain understandings. I also want to use that summertime to kind of create study guides and find my way of navigating learning. I feel like my late high school, early college study techniques were really fun. I used to handwrite everything, and I feel like I absorbed things so much easier. And then when I switched to like an iPad, not to say that my learning diminished, but I feel like over time, especially now that I'm like doing courses online for college, it just feels like that aspect of learning and retaining information isn't there. And especially with my particular college, at least with the courses I've taken last semester, they were all pretty much open book for the most part. So, there wasn't really any need for me to like memorize anything, which I'm glad of that, because I'm at a point right now where I would rather retain information that I know is going to help me moving forward versus like just electives or classes that I'm just taking to graduate. So that summer curriculum thing, I will definitely share it once I've developed it. I've been watching a lot of videos on personal curriculum and trying to understand how people formulate it, looking at like resources online that I can buy and textbooks and stuff. The other thing that I'm doing in the meantime, in the course of all this that I've planned, is I am taking a CNA course. So not currently, but I am enrolled in one for February. It's going to be February to March, and then in April I have clinicals. So right now that's probably going to be my biggest thing and my biggest source of content. It is going to be a little rough because I work full-time evening shifts, which a few months ago, evening shifts was not a problem, but going forward, evening shifts are going to be a little annoying for me. And so I work full-time, I am going to school full-time, my courses start back up in a week, and then I will simultaneously be doing a CNA course. And the way that course is set up is that I have some online classes, I have labs in person. They're not all like continuously like every single day. I think it's like 2 or 3 per week. They're going to be releasing the schedule to us pretty soon before the class starts, before the tuition and everything is due, to allow us to set up our schedule. But from what I saw last time when I tried to apply, was that it's pretty like staggered. And I am taking this CNA course in the mornings, so it's going to be like 9 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. and then the clinicals are going to be 6 a.m. to 2:30. So I'm basically going to be stacking like my hours in terms of doing things. I don't plan on getting a whole lot of sleep because currently my schedule so far has been after work I do schoolwork, and that's what's worked for me. So if I continue that, which I probably will, having to wake up 6 hours later, that's not bad actually. 6 hours is a decent amount of sleep, but I've also been sleeping like a sloth. So I'm rambling, but yeah, so that is like my journey so far, what I'm doing, my plans for the year. The application opens in August, so once that application opens, I will also be sharing that with you in the process that I'm doing, and I'm gonna be reading up a little more about the process, if there's like interviews or anything like that, and just doing kind of a deeper dive. One more thing, so the program that I'm applying to isn't just an accelerated program. It's an accelerated bachelor's program, and then they have an additional option of combining it with a DNP program or a doctorate of naturopathic medicine, or doctorate of nurse practitioner, and specifically a path to my midwifery, because there's increased need, I think, for midwifery. And as someone who plans on being in labor and delivery, wants to be in labor and delivery, wants to be involved in women's health specifically, also wants to achieve my goal of having a doctorate. It's not exactly the medical doctor degree that I thought I would have previously, but it's still a doctorate. And just also being interested in research and wanting to be involved in research. That is the program path I plan on taking. So yeah, so it's basically an ABSN program plus a DNP graduate program. I am excited, I am nervous, I don't know, honestly, I don't know what to expect, I don't know what to, like, it's gonna be rough, I know, but I also want to stay positive. I know it's all about time management, it's all about prioritization. I will be uploading more videos soon. I don't want to set a schedule just yet, but I had some ideas about talking about like my hospital custodian job, and kind of like what I see and what I do in that position, and how I think it's helping me become gonna be a better nurse because of it. I'm very grateful for the position that I did get. At first I was a little upset. I was like, I probably should have aimed for only doing patient related jobs when I applied to those jobs, but I'm actually really grateful for starting off here, because it gives me so much perspective that I don't think I otherwise would have had. And I think it's also building up my tolerance to gross things before I go to CNA. One more little piece of background: when I did work at a university very briefly, we were trained as patient care technicians. It was very similar to CNA, I believe, although I think our range of activity or things that we could do in New Jersey were more than what we can do here in Washington. But we were trained for I think several weeks, and we did phlebotomy, we did all these things, and I was really excited about it. I'm excited about anything related to medicine, but at the time, I think I was 21 or 22, I didn't have as much of a tolerance for seeing gross things as I thought I did. In all honesty, I think it was just a combination of multiple circumstances, like cleaning poop and stuff. Like I had toddler sisters, baby sisters, toddler sisters. I worked at a daycare for a few months. Like seeing poop is not the grossest thing to me, right? But it was just like, it literally lasted a week, guys. It was so bad. I had 1 week of orienting with someone else, training with different people, and then the first day on the unit by myself, like 2 people called out. I had like more of a patient workload than I had ever would have expected, and there was a particular patient that like it was very obvious she had a mental condition. I think she was demented, and that she wasn't fully aware of her faculties and what was happening, and she unfortunately just had like, I think she was also incontinent, so she was going to the bathroom regularly, and then she would put her hands in it, and then she would eat it, and it was I had to help restrain her while the nurse helped to clean her, and it was just too much for me in the moment. I was just like, I didn't know how to handle it. I didn't know, you know, I was like so, I guess, shocked by this, and like I had a lot of compassion, but in that moment I was like, I don't know if this was for me. And here I am 3-4 years later again, because you know, you have to be able to interact with different patients. And again, I'm rambling on so much, and this should definitely be another video, and I will mention it in another video. But being a custodian, and being in the units I've been so far, I've had to work in the emergency department for about 1.5 to 2 months, and that in and of itself gave me a lot of perspective, because you had a lot of behavioral patients, you had a lot of different things that you saw even in passing, and I'm really grateful to have like witnessed a lot of things, because I think it like built up my like awareness. I think if you're not exposed to certain things and then you just dive straight into nursing, you're not going to be ready for it, because you never know what you're going to see. So yeah, I'm just grateful for what I've seen so far. Like I see blood, I see poop, I see pee, like I see vomit. I've cleaned up those things, and for better or for worse, like it's made me not as disgusted by them. I'm still grossed out by it, but I'm not like I don't make it bother me so much. So I think I'm a little more prepared now to do a CNA program and work with like elderly people and stuff like that. So yeah. Sorry for the longer video, but this was a semi-brief introduction to me and to my channel, and basically I plan on showing you my path and my journey along the way to going to nursing school, in nursing school, hopefully after nursing school, and yeah, so I will see you guys in the next video. If you are a current nursing student, please leave tips. A former nursing student, please leave tips. If you are on a similar path, or you just want to share your story or whatever is happening, like definitely leave a comment, and I will interact with you guys in the comments. Bye.